So when that happened, I really couldn't tell you, but I know that it's not there. There's no attachment to that outcome, right? So free will is the making the decision around what's going to happen or what you want to have in your life versus fate, which is what you decided to bring into your life from the other side, right? Now, having said that, the trap that we get in is people exercise their free will and often think that it gets them what they want. What you want versus standing up for yourself are two different things. Standing up for myself and being who I am and being true to me doesn't mean I get everything I want the way I want it. It means that I'm not going to compromise who I am, even if I choose to compromise in a situation, right? So I can go forward and know I'm very comfortable with the idea that I'm moving to Grand Forks, even though it wasn't a place that I thought I wanted to live or I would have ever chose to live. But I can still be who I am in Grand Forks. Now I'm moving to Grand Prairie and I'm being given the opportunity to open that up even further because I'm going to a community that's open and receptive rather than a community that's very locked down in an old belief system. But both could be considered compromises because I'm moving to places I didn't expect to move, and would I have chose them? Probably not. But at the same time, it doesn't change me, right? My free will allows me to be who I am, even though all this other stuff is happening. When people decide that they're standing up for themselves and they're going to get what they want, often they take away somebody else's free will. So, an example would be my son smokes pot. I would prefer he didn't, but he does. So when he does, and does it in a circumstance that I'm not expecting it, then the only thing that I have as a choice in it is how I react to it, right? But he got what he wanted. He did what he wanted without any thought whatsoever to how it's going to affect the people around him. That's his free will, his choice, his ability to exercise his own journey, but at the same time left me without anything to work with other than my choice on how I'm going to react, right? So that's one example that I can think of off the top of my head, but we do it all the time. Drunk drivers, great example. They get in behind the wheel, they made a choice, they have an accident, they do whatever, and they took the free will away from somebody else. We didn't have a choice to be in this situation, but I have a choice on how I deal with it, right? So often we think that we're exercising free will. And when in fact, sometimes those are situations where my ex, for example, just got hit by a drunk driver. And he's going through a lot of health problems because of it, whereas his girlfriend, who was in the same vehicle, she's fine. So was it a karmic event for him because it took this to get his attention? And that's for him to answer.
Like crashing a motorcycle and breaking your collarbone.
Exactly, right? What was the universe trying to tell you?
Slow down.
Really? Shoulders about taking on too much of everybody else's stuff. You're carrying the world that doesn't belong to you. So in the choices, are you going gung-ho to try and fix everybody else's world at the same time that you're trying to get what you want forward and happening? Make sense?
Yep.
And you're the only one that can answer that because you know where you were at that moment, right? My own personal experience, and I've had 2 major accidents, and with numbers you can figure out whether this was a karmic event or one of those things that you go plan every night while you're supposed to be sleeping. But I'm in school, double major work, social work and psychology, and I'm in a motorcycle accident that I should not have lived through. That's the end of my psychology and social work career. Just bang, gone. I have enough to deal with. I don't fucking want to deal with anybody else's goddamn problems on this planet. Forget it. Done. Don't want it. Right? Just what I learned at the time is I'm hurting, I'm grumpy, and people are still coming near me. I'm not even nice to them, and people are still coming around me. They're still coming to me for advice. So I quit being nice. Which comes as a shock to some because people think I'm pretty nice. I'm not nice. I am fuck nice. That's my philosophy. Fuck nice. I am not going to do anything to make somebody else feel better. I will be supportive. I will be helpful. I will talk to you. I will do whatever. I am open door policy in that regard, but I am not going to do it for you. And nice is taking on other people's garbage to do whatever. So I was very young. Fuck nice. I'm not nice. And still, I'm surrounded by people. They still keep coming. They still whatever, right? But it was a big learning thing for me. And I wasn't allowed to go down the route of social work and psychology. It was just bang. No, you're not going there. And I knew very much this was what was happening. The next accident, I ignored my 31 birthday, which my kids have never allowed me to ignore another birthday. And the next day I'm in a rollover, 70 kilometers an hour, rolled 9 times, 24 broken bones, 300 stitches in my face. Shouldn't be here. There is no logical explanation why coming out of a pickup and it lands here and lands here, why I'm here. The guy behind me who was trying to pass me at the time stopped, and he was just totally flabbergasted that I'm alive and talking to him. Because it shouldn't have been that way. I come out of that truck and it rolled over top of me as far as he knew, right? So in this situation, and this was the karmic event, I was also, I'm going back to school, I'm going to social work. Not allowed. Right? So it's really kind of ironic how the universe has put something in my path to say, you can't go there. You're not allowed to go that direction. So, because my plan was to stay doing that job from a spiritual perspective. So now we've taken the painkiller that I've been living off the market. Try all the other ones, don't work. Nothing else took away the hurt the way that this particular painkiller did. So I had to find another way. So in order to be able to feel pain-free after having my back broke twice, I had to find something that worked without having any kind of painkiller that wasn't doing the job. And I'm not just going to keep chewing more and more and more, because that's not who I am either. I've always said I can be just as stupid sober as other people can be drunk or stoned, and I've made a lifetime practice of proving it. So it's like, yeah, I don't have to do that. I do, and I enjoy it when I do, but I don't have to. I'm not using it as a crutch. So that's when I got into energy work, right? I went in someplace and they said, what level of Reiki are you? What the fuck is Reiki? Never even heard of it. 2 weeks later, I'm a level 3. Don't do that. Take the time in between, because it's really hard on your body, right? So I went through the whole process of healing from an energy perspective, went right back to the roots of the religion I chose to come up with, and looking at God in everything. I don't have the belief system that's stuck in that you must do this or else, but I still look at that from that childlike perspective of God's everywhere. He's in every plant, he's in every rock, he's in every being. Everybody I look at, I see the face of God. I don't see this human costume that they're wearing. I can see where you got stuck. I don't know how you got to where you got stuck, but I can see how to flow the energy forward. And I spend my day with this multicolored vision of modeled colors around me that all I'm doing is cleaning up where the gray areas and the mud is. I don't even know whose life I affect. And sometimes I get a phone call that says, how'd you do that? You phoned and told me what was going on. I look at this pattern of color and say, okay, let's just sweep this out and see what happens, right? It's weird. But totally concentrating on this is the spiritual connection to this is the physical manifestation. So everything I do, I look at from a completely opposite perspective as most. People see the physical, they get caught up in the physical, they understand the physical, And that now we're opening more as a collective consciousness into, okay, emotions affect the physical. And healing has to involve healing the emotions. So let's go back to the trauma, which you probably have no recollection of anyway, because what you experienced as a child was simply letting you know that this is what's going on. What lifetime did it happen in? Who cares? It doesn't matter. The fact is, as you experience this, you felt this, this is what you're here to balance. And the free will simply is, when are you going to be strong enough or brave enough to say, I don't need this anymore. I don't need to experience this anymore. I don't need to have a reminder that this is what's going on in my being. And that's it. It's, yeah, well, I'm done. That's the only free will you have. Am I going to keep doing what I think I have to be doing, or am I going to say, next? What's next? Makes sense?